Okay. What's up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys with my birthday celebration deck profile? Question mark. So, pretty much, I decided to do a very unusual deck version of Harpies, and it kind of just sticks to the whole aspect of what the Harpie deck is its own. Um, there's a lot of things that I added, a lot of things I took out, and a lot more things being added just because I'm trying to find a perfect balance for Harpies at the moment. This version is probably going to see a lot of hate because of one particular set of cards that's in it. And the only reason why these cards are in it is because I am testing them to see if they would necessarily work. But it's pretty much all Harpie Lady. Every monster in this deck has Harpie Lady in her name or is treated as Harpie Lady. Except for the extra deck, because the extra deck is just the extra deck. So, let's get started. Alright, so for my monsters, and it's going to be a very large portion of monsters. It's 42 card deck, because I did count it. We're going to start off with Harpie Chandler. She pretty much gets all the Harpie monsters in your deck to the field by discarding a Harpie card. If you're not running any Dragon type monsters, the second effect doesn't apply to you, where she changes her level from 4 to 7 unless you do control a Dragon type monster. Other than that, she and Harpie Dancer, Harpie Harpist, Harpie Queen have the effect that they're treated as Harpie Lady while on the field or in the graveyard. So that's Harpie Chandler. Harpie Dancer in a set of, I know a lot of people are saying why there are 3 Harpie Dancers. Well, I run 15 subset Harpie Ladies. I like the 15 of, and it's just one of those playstyles that works well with me. If I was like mashing or, combining 2 different decks, excuse me, there would be probably 2 Harpie Dancer, but I like the 3 of. She gives an additional name for Hysteric Party. She gives additional search for Harpie's Hunting Ground. She can be searched by Hysteric Party. She gives an additional search for Hysteric Sign. She has low enough stats to get other cards like Bottomless. And she's just a really overall good 1-for-1 in most cases. So that's Harpie Dancer. Harpie Harpist. Pretty much a freebie discard for Harpie Chandler. She is the Winged Beast version of Skarm, in which she can add 1 Winged Beast monster with 15 or less attack from your deck to your hand. That is level 4. So you can get Harpie Dancer, Harpie Queen, or any variation of Harpie Dancer, Harpie Chandler, or any variation of Harpie Lady that has 15 or less base stats. Which is normal summon. You can select 1 Winged Beast you control, 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, and bounce those monsters to hand. So it helps you get rid of obstacles, which is normal summon. So overall, really good effects, especially with Divine Wind if you play it. Next is Harpie Queen. Harpie Queen in this deck is our 19 beater, and she searches for Harpie's Hunting Ground. I just want to note she's not going to be the only 19 beater in this deck. But like I said, she is treated as Harpie Lady while she's on the field in the graveyard, so that helps when you discard her because it gives an additional target or a starting target for Hysteric Party. For my Harpie Ladies, I'm running 2 Harpie Lady 1 and 1 Cyber Harpie Lady. Harpie Lady 1 gives the additional attack bonus, while Cyber Harpie Lady is an additional beater. These are pretty much one group of elegant egotist targets, because the second monsters in this deck are Harpie Sisters. Now, before anyone jumps on my throat, let me explain. We are now in a new format. It is time to start testing Harpie Sisters once again. That's the only reason why they are here, because I needed more targets to play cards like Decode Talker, where I needed multiple effect monsters to be sent to the graveyard, and I figured Sisters would be a good addition. Now, I'm not saying that Dragon and Baby aren't a good addition as well, but I wanted to keep the basis of the name Harpie Lady circling through the deck as opposed to just monsters with Harpie in their name, because Ego can't special summon them and Sign can get them on the board. Another issue that I'm going to test is if I need the additional second Elegant Egotist or not. And there's a possibility that they can't be bricked. So I could probably drop it from 3 sisters to 2 sisters, or maybe just run the one of, or have an additional Egotist to support the 3 sisters being in the deck, even though Sign can get Ego from the graveyard. But she is the 1950 attacker, 2100 defender. The only real issue is that the only real thing is Harpie sisters can't be so summoned outside of Egotist unless you already summoned them off the Egotist, in which the Joey's World recorrection, where it says you must first special summon with Elegant Egotist. So once they're summoned with Egotist, you can call them, you can Monster Reborn them, and stuff like that. Unfortunately, they don't treat as Harpie ladies, so they can't use summon off of a Hysteric Party. For the spells, 3 Hysteric Sign. I think there's enough monsters in this deck, as well as spells and traps, to be searched for when this card is destroyed or discarded from hand or field to graveyard. When it's activated, you can go get Elegant Egotist, and because I'm running about 6 targets, I have multiple things I can get to the field thanks to Ego, or get to hand because of this card's effect. And one of the best cards in this lineup. I'm running triple Harpies Hunting Ground. That's just because of the fact that there's a new spell card going around that replaces field spells and puts field spells from your deck to the field. 1 to your side, 1 to your opponent. So I'm trying to opt out the 3 of to deal with that, as well as Divine Wind of Mist Valley, so I can keep some more circulation. Other than that, it gives the additional attack boost to all your Winged Beast monsters on the field. And when Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters is normal special summon, the conductor of the summon selects 1 spell or trap on the field and destroys it. So if you have to destroy your own spells and traps, always note that Hysteric Sign is an option. Next, 1 Elegant Egotist, and I'll have her, like I said, I'm gonna test this out to see if the 1 works or the 2 of, and then get back to you guys on that, because I am running multiple sisters. If I do decide to drop a sister, I'll probably add the Elegant Egotist to bump it to 2, and I'll probably be like 13 spells in this deck, because I think it's like 12 spells, 12 traps, 12 traps, 12 spells, and 18 monsters. So you can tell, like, the deck count is really high, which is also a reason why I'm still questioning if I want to run the multiple Egotists to support the multiple sisters. But yeah, like I said, other than Harpie Sisters, you can get any monster that is treated as Harpie Lady. That does not include Queen, Chandler, Dancer, and Harpies, because they are not Harpie Lady while they're in the deck. While on the field, they are Harpie Lady, or in the graveyard, they are Harpie Lady, so you can play Elegant Egotist and then summon Harpies off of them. For the rest of my one-ofs, in combination with Harpie Dancer, I'm running 1 Divine Wind of the Mist Valley, and using its effects are tremendous with this deck, because you can get a whole bunch of monsters on the board and exceed, link summon, and go crazy. I'm running 1 Dark Hole, 1 Raigeki for field clearance. And for random obscurity of draw power, I'm running 1 Upside Goblin and 1 Day of Peace. Plus 1 day I don't get affected by damage for a turn, so that helps. For my traps, I'm running triple Harpie's Feather Storm, one of pretty much Harpie's second best trap, because it negates monster effects, and if you control a Winged Beast, you can activate it. You can activate it from your hand if you control a monster that has Harpie in its name, and practically all 18 monsters in this deck are Harpie, so that won't be too hard. And quick tip, you can set it with Castell and use it off of Castell, because he's a Winged Beast, not the Harpie effect where you can activate it from your hand. But awesome card. And if we do get Feather Duster, the last effect applies of if discarding your spell or trap zone is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you can add 1 Harpie's Feather Duster from your deck to your hand. So fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. Hysteric Party. Pretty much Harpie's most powerful spell. Discard one card from your hand, so summon as many Harpie Lady monsters from your graveyard to the field. Queen, Chandler, Dancer, Harpies, and any variation of Harpie Lady, except for Harpie Sisters, can be so summoned off this card. This is pretty much, like I said, one of Harpie's most powerful traps, because you special summon your entire Harpie Lady lineup from the graveyard and can go crazy off of that. It does, if it gets destroyed, the monsters that are attached to it gets destroyed, which is the only downfall. Similar to Call to Honey, it cannot use its effects more than once. So, yeah. Well, the 3 of just is amazing, and then just getting the plethora of monsters off of it as well is equally amazing, because you can beat down to your opponent to 0, or you can start making more monsters, flip another party, and then get everybody on board, and then just going for there. Next, Anti-Spell Fragrance. In combination with Harpies, this is pretty much one of Harpies' best lineal trap cards to play. I know a lot of other decks play it because it slows down heavy spell decks, but for Harpies, because it forces both players to set their spells and wait a turn, you can easily put more Harpies on the board and start popping your opponent's back row, because most decks will need their spells in order to go off. So with anti-spell, that just helps out. In any lingering pendulum players, that does lock you out of your pendulum zones to play pendulum spells, because you cannot set pendulum cards. Well, pendulum monsters in pendulum zones. You can set them as monsters, but you can't set them in the cell trap area anymore with anti-spell face up. So for my 1-ups, I'm running 1 Sorry Mirror Force, 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Torrential Tribute, and 1 Bottomless Trap Hole. And primarily, these are cards that do not target and can easily rid the field of cards in case Reiki and Darkhold don't do their job. So that is my main deck, 42 total. For my extra, rocking double Decode Talker, because it is now linked format. This card, similar to Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, does become a hassle to summon, but with the right cards, you can easily put a Decode Talker on board and then have access to your other extra deck monsters to put it into the main monster zone. Decode Talker gains attack for each card that he's linked to, and you can tribute a monster that he points to negate a card effect that would affect your cards. Am I reading that right? Negate the activation of a card that... Oh, that would... If you control... okay, yeah. That targets a card. Yeah, so if something targets a card you control that he's pointing to, you can tribute a card he's pointing to negate that card and destroy it. It does not apply to the monster that he's pointing to on your opponent's side of the field. So that's just a little heads up. 2 Harpies Pet Phantasmal Dragon, still Harpie's ace monster in the extra deck. Protect your Harpie monster from being targeted by cards for battle or effect. He can attack directly, and during each of your end phases, he loses 1 material, which isn't too bad, but overall, it's still one of Harpie's most resourceful monsters. Speaking of resourceful monsters for Harpies, we have 2 Lightning Chidori, 2 Castell, and 1 Ice Beast 05. The Harpie Winged Beast trio, Castell is really good because it's just a generic level 4. So you can easily just use his ability to send cards that you on the field back to the deck. Chidori, when he's exceeds summon, he selects a set card and sends it back to the bottom of the deck, and then once a turn he gets attachment material to send a face-up card your opponent controls to the top of the deck. Ice Beast 05, once a turn can detach material from herself, negate all the effects of face-up cards your opponent controls. For each face-up card on the board, which includes yours, she gains 300 attack for each one, and those effects apply till your next standby phase. So Ice Beast needs 2 Winged Beasts. It's not harder than Harpies, because everybody's a Winged Beast. Castell is just a generic 4. Castell's other abilities, he can detach a material from himself to select a face-up card on the field and put it face down so he can combine with Chidori's effect. And Chidori's really easy to summon because all these monsters in Harpies are level 4 wind, so there's another bonus to that. I'm trying to think what else it is. Yeah, because, you know, wind, winged bees, these three are pretty much the staples for a Harpie deck. I wouldn't necessarily say in multiples because of all the link monsters, but if you can try to fit it in, go right ahead. Next, for some one-ofs, I'm running one Dagusto Emerald, mainly for the Pot of Havers effect. I have one Gaga Cowboy for the 800 effect damage. I have one XYZ Rebellion Dragon. Target one monster your opponent controls, have that monster's attack, and he will gain that monster's attack. And one Core Gorgon, the Anti-Luminescent Knight. Really works well with Harpies, Hunting Ground, and Anti-Spell. Because you can protect the Anti-Spell and blow up cards that are being targeted. Or technically he switches the target of whatever a card would target that card. And I love to use this with Anti-Spell, Face Up, you have Hunting Ground. Say for instance you have Hysteric Sign, they're trying to play MST. You can target the Sign instead of the Anti-Spell. You can target either their back row. Effect Veiler, you can target any other monster or target him and stuff like that. So that's those four. And then my last two monsters in the deck are number monsters, and they are Silent Honor Arc and Giant Hand. Just some generic fours. So that's pretty much it for this deck profile, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, because I surely did. I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of my day. So like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, HBJ signing out.